Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Rothstein Beats, and you're now tuned in to Danaya Azure Radio. Hello.
Hello, Rothstein. How are you? Welcome to Danaya Azure Radio.
I'm doing good. How about yourself? How you doing?
I am good. I am good. Happy 4th to you.
Hello. Well, you got the grill going? Hello.
We're going to be heading out to barbecuing a little bit with some friends. So, how did you originally get into music?
Oh man, I always got to give my older brother Jeff credit for getting me into music. He's like 2 years older than me, so he really is the one who, gave me the songs to listen to. I was the little brother, so I wanted to be like my big brother, and just kind of be around him. And then by doing that, I was able to discover all different types of hip hop, R&B. And we talking about the '90s when I was, a little
Look,
young one. So yes, so hello.
definitely. So, how old were you when you produced your first record?
Man, I actually was in college, so I would say I was like 19 my sophomore year in college. I actually started making beats on the PlayStation 1, which a lot of people don't know. You can make beats on
Mhm.
PlayStation. So yeah, I made my first beat on the PlayStation 1.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Definitely. So you've been doing music for a while now. Okay. So obviously Rothstein is not your legal name. How did you get the name Rothstein?
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm from Las Vegas, so if you ever seen a movie called Casino, there
Mm,
was the main character, Robert De Niro character. His name was Sam Rothstein, and one day and he wear a lot of suits and shades and smoke cigars. And so one day, I was feeling good. I had my suit on, I had my shades on, cigar, and one of my friends was like, "Hey man, who you think you is?" Sam Rothstein, and my first name is Stan. I said, "No, I'm Stan Rothstein." And so they was like, "Oh," so everybody's like, "Yo man, we got to start calling you Rothstein." And so it's
ah,
like it sounds rich. They always said it sounds like money. So I say, hey, I'm about money.
yes.
You know what I mean? So and so now it was Stan Rothstein, but then I chopped the Stan off, and then it just became Rothstein. And I'm a producer, so Rothstein Beats is how that came together.
That's awesome. And producer, comedian, and now newest member of the Grammy board, Rothstein is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So before
Hello.
we get into anything else, let's talk about that. So, what did it feel like to find out that you were a part of the Recording Academy?
Oh my God. For one, I actually applied last year, so I had to wait a whole year. I had just missed the membership for last year deadline, so I had to wait a whole year, y'all. For everybody listening, I had to wait a whole year just to find out if I was even selected. Because just because you apply to it, you still have to be, accepted, just like any type of organization
Mhm.
or membership. So I'm waiting and waiting, and I knew it was around this time is when they start announcing the newest class.
Mhm.
And so I get an email inviting me, DC chapter executive director, asking to go out to lunch. And so I'm like, this must mean either they trying to let me down easy, or that must mean that I'm a part of it. And
Right.
come to find out, I met seven other people that got selected from our area, who were all part of the class of 2023 Grammy voting membership. So yeah, so the Recording Academy, I'm officially a member, and I'm telling you, as soon as I became a member, I just got reached out to I mean, amazing producers, Grammy winning people. Like this is not no, you're around the corner. This is three-time Grammy winning, four-time Grammy winner. And they're reaching out to me and welcoming me and and all that. So it was a dream come true. I always wanted to be a part of the Recording Academy in some form.
Yes. So Rothstein also has this amazing group, which is now a house on Clubhouse, called Music Networking No Egos. So tell us a little bit about that
Hello.
and how you started that.
Oh man, shout out before I go into there, I always gotta shout out bots, shout out to D Bot, shout out to Aunt Jackie, Lewis King, Kush, H Lee, everybody who shows up to the room. But I gotta be honest, man, Clubhouse came during the pandemic, and I didn't know what it was when I eventually, when I came on. I thought it was a new app. I actually got recommended by one of my close friends, and she's an A&R. And she said, "Hey, Rothstein, like you're a producer, you need to be on this app because a lot of industry people were on the app during the pandemic, where when we were all at home." And so I got on the app about November of 2020. And I was going through the different rooms and meeting people, networking and doing all that, but I didn't have a space that I could call my own or a space I felt comfortable in. Because the other spaces were people yelling at people throwing people to the goo, telling them they need to quit doing music. And you know what I mean? And this is like A&Rs. Yeah, this is A&Rs of major labels telling, independent artists. So a lot of people say, "Hey, I'm quitting music," or "I'm not going to go on club." Yeah, so I felt bad. So I was like, man, I want to be in a space where we can network with legitimate people, not capping people, lying people, but legitimate people in the music industry. And so I created a space with my partner, Chris Pinter. So I got to shout out Chris Pinter and Bots. And we didn't know what we were going to call it. We didn't know what we were doing. So we just end up hosting spaces daily. And then next thing you know, we had a format. And so from there, I thought of the name Music Networking because that's what we do. I'm a producer. I want to network with other musicians. So I said new Music Networking, and then Bots came with the No Egos. You know what I'm saying? Because he already had a room called No Egos. So we was like, yeah, and then we just start showing up every day. And the next thing you know, it grew. We got over 30,000 members now. We've had the likes of Tiffany Haddish, Kid and Play. We've had legendaries, Monique, Craig Robinson. We've even had a little bit of everything. So I definitely got to shout out my team over at the No Egos family. Love y'all, and we're gonna continue doing it. So if you get a chance to go on Clubhouse, look us up. We're there Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern through noon.
Absolutely, and it's a really, really fun group. You get to have some amazing conversations regarding the industries and the do's and don'ts and all of that. And you just get to build with some really phenomenal people in there for sure.
Hello. You already know. You've been in there many times. So thank you for your incredible input that you bring to the room as well.
Thank you. Definitely. And phenomenal producer, comedian, and now newest member of the Grammy Board, Rothstein, is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So what has been one of your craziest experiences that you've had on Clubhouse?
Man, well, I could say this one room because I didn't know, like we went viral. Like we went viral with this one particular room. So as you know, being in the music industry, you do meet people who get their music taken, get their beats stolen, and everything like that. So I met a guy from New Jersey, and he was like, "Hey, Roth, man, Drake stole one of my beats."
Oh,
we're talking, yeah. Now, we're talking the top tier type person, Drake. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, what? But it really wasn't Drake. It was the producer. But Drake ended up, yeah. But so we actually came up with the room, and this was his idea. I just said, I know this is gonna go viral. It's like clickbait. You know what I mean? So we put a title of Drake Stole My Beat. And when I tell you, we end up hearing Drake come into the room and he tweeted about it, but he was under a fake profile. He was under somebody else's profile, but he tweeted about that room. So, but we had other producers. We had people from OVO come in the room, like defending Drake. And then somehow it got so crazy enough, people yelling, then the room ended. Like somebody ended the room. So, but that was probably the wildest time I had on Clubhouse because we had thousands of people in that room trying to see what song, who he stole it from. We had people who believed it and was going against Drake. It was just all types of stuff happening. So it was, but then we saw on Twitter that Drake had tweeted something about it, and then people already knew. So that was probably one of the wildest times is being the moderator of that room and then having all these people. Yeah. But I got love for Drake, so that's why I was like, hey, I had put a disclaimer, like, I'm not the one saying this.
Don't come for me.
Don't come for me. So, but thank God I haven't had no real issues on Clubhouse. And I'm
beautiful. And it's always interesting to kind of see like how the spaces have changed and how the energy has changed on the app. So, what would you say that has been the biggest I haven't experienced, but the biggest lesson that you've learned for being on this application?
I will say be who you are. I think a lot of people want to make themselves look bigger or better or smarter or richer than they actually are. But I would say it's people will respect you by your energy, your genuineness, your honestness. You having honesty. You know what I mean. So I would say just be yourself and don't be afraid to, show who you are. If you're a little quirky, a little nerd, you know what I mean. It's okay. That's your superpower is your uniqueness and being who you are. I didn't think I would be able to be running a space like this and having thousands of people following me and contacting me. You know what I mean? I never could see it, but I did it. I tried it out. I was scared to open rooms when I first got up there because I was worried about if nobody would come or maybe somebody want to start an argument with me, and you know what I mean. And then I got over that part, and then start showing up, being consistent, and now my phone, my people who know me, my network has grown 100 times over. So yes, it's definitely a great space, and I'm gonna shout out Clubhouse when I win my Grammy, because
yes,
like
yes, when
this
you win that
app
Grammy, absolutely, because it's coming for sure.
Hello.
And so, producer, comedian, and now newest member of the Grammy Award, Rothstein, is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So, as a producer, what has been one of your most memorable experiences?
I always got to bring up my Papoose story. Working with Papoose, who's now, shout out Papoose, head of hip hop over at TuneCore. So congrats to my guy. But I will say my first placement with him, because we got 2 songs together that we've done. But my first placement was one of my close friends. He grew up with Papoose. He known Papoose since he was like 14, 13 years old. He's known him for a long time. And he was like, hey man, Papoose looking for some beats. I know you hot. I know you got some something for him. So I send some beats to him, send it back to him. And then like 3 or 4 months go by. So I'm like, maybe I didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't like nothing he heard. I'm in another meeting with another artist in their label, and my phone is blowing up. And I'm like, who is blowing my phone up? Like, it's like it was 3 calls in a row. So I'm like, all right. So I step out the meeting. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I don't like to interrupt the meeting or anything, but somebody's really blowing my phone up. And it was my boy, like, hey, Papoose want this beat and he need it by tonight because the album need to be turned in by tomorrow. So, wow. And so I'm like, so I literally, like, in my meeting, I'm like, hey, I know you're talking, but I gotta go. This is a placement that I'm about to get real quick. So I speed home, get there, send the stems off and everything, and send my everything off that I need as far as paperwork wise. And then I'm chilling, I'm chilling one day, and then I get a message on my Instagram, and it's from Papoose, and he was like, shouted me out, like, hey, shout out to Rothstein, he made this beat, and I'm like, what? Like, out of all, it's like 13 other songs on that album, but he chose my song to promote and say, hey, y'all need to go listen to this album. And then he tags me, and then when he tags me, my Instagram's going crazy, like people following me, doing all, and he got like 2 million people on this, you know what I mean? So it started going crazy. So I would say that first placement with him, and then building a relationship with him to where now, we working on his next project and different things. So yeah, so I would say that would definitely be probably one of the most memorable as a producer for me.
That's super dope. And I think I love what you said about the building the relationship after. Like, that's what I think a lot of people forget, is they're so focused on, let me get this, let me get that, but they're not understanding that can cultivate into something way bigger. Because now this artist loves your beat, and now is going to recommend you to other people because he loved your beat and he loved your energy. Because you could just be the one that, like, he liked the beat or whatever, but because you came with good energy and you weren't trying to, fanboy and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
It makes it easier for him to introduce you to someone else. We tell you all the time, it's all about energy. It's all about being respectful and speaking life into people. And that's how you're able to continue to succeed in this industry. I've been in this industry
Hello.
since I was 3. I started, doing music and whatnot. I fell back because the industry's insane, but I wound up ultimately coming back because I love music and I love listening to music. I have friends that are artists and amazing artists, so I'm like, all right, let me step back in. So now I got more on the radio side, and then I work with a song production camp. Shout out to my bad kids; they are amazing. So that's the Milky stuff and the whole camp. We're doing some really dope stuff over there as well. So yeah, it's a blessing to be able to see people as they progress, for sure.
For sure. Nah, man, you cooking right now. Because relationships is how people get in situations. Like
Listen,
I mean, if somebody calls your phone and says, "Hey, Beyonce needs a record," that's because they have a relationship with you and they trust you and they know what you can do, and so they'll trust you and be that connection bridge between you. And then you know what I'm saying, like, 'cause their reputation's on the line. And so if you say, "Hey, I
that
got
part.
this producer," so that's why it's hard for people. Got to understand, like, if I put my name on you, I'm literally putting myself on the line. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you always got to be thankful and respectful to
Yes.
whoever puts you in a situation to win. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That you said it right there. Cultivate those relationships and take care of those relationships. Do not burn bridges unless you absolutely have to, because sometimes you have to, because it'd be
Yeah. Oh
crazy.
yeah.
But
Hello.
if you do not have to, if the relationship can be mended, mend it, because the industry is so small. You're gonna see that person at some point.
Hello. People think they Gucci. Oh, I don't worry, I ain't gotta ever. But then next thing you know,
No,
years
no.
later, it could be years later. You think you
Mm-hmm.
riding high, and then you walk into an office door that you're trying to get something from, and then it's that one person. And God has a funny way of having you come back around the block.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean. And so you're right. So it's good to keep those relationships as strong as possible, but sometimes you got to let that person go because they can also ruin your other
Yep.
relationships or your career. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's why I appreciate you and the Music No Egos room, because of the fact that, I've seen the way that people have been able to elevate. Even yourself, you just did your first comedy gig. How was that, sir?
Man, well, this is my first paid gig. Let me say that it's my first
Right.
time I got paid as a
Yes.
comedian. I was surprised, like they won't pay me. You know, like I'm like, cut the check. So you laughing now? I guess you got paid. You should pay me now. No, I'm just playing. But but no. Shout out to the room because the person in the room is the one who recommended me, and then Aunt Jackie also referred me as well and put an extra like hey, I think that would be a good idea as well. So that's what I'm saying. Like because of those relationships, I was able to do what I love, which is comedy. I love comedy. I've always, people have always told me I should have been doing stand-up comedy, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to compare myself to the greats already instead of, you know what I'm saying? So once I kind of got out of that mode and knowing I'm on my own journey, the same way as I do with music. Like I used to look at, Kanye and Pharrell, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. But then when I started focusing on my journey and my career and where, you know what I mean? I don't have to do the same thing they did. I could do my own lane. And so that's how I feel like with my comedy journey. I did my first show was last year in Charlotte. I had 5 minutes, but then, now I'm up to 15 minutes, you know what I mean? Performing. So yeah, I did that about 2 weeks ago. I ended up getting another booking from that show in August. So yeah, so is that's moving along as well, and I'm gonna be doing some stuff online, skits, reels, and different things like showing my funny side because I am a goofy. I like to play around a lot. I like to laugh and smile. So yeah, so that's gonna be coming soon.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So, when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
Wow, that's a great question. Let me take a few seconds to think because I do so many different things. Like, of course, I got a podcast. I'm a sound royalty referral rep. I'm a songwriter mentor at Songtown USA. You know what I mean? I got my own label, Casino Gang. my own independent label, Casino Gang Records, which I have 4 artists on. So I just saying all that to say, I want my legacy to be that, that I was a connector. I was someone who helped artists, people, get to that next point in their career. Hopefully, I motivated them to become a better person or want to do better. And I also want to be known as a dope producer. I want to be known as, one of the best producers, to help, because music is therapeutic. You know what I mean? We can't live without music. So if I can have some music that helps somebody get through a situation, get them ready for the club, get them, about to fall in love with someone. If my beats or my production can help life go on easier or better, then that's a win for me. So I really just want to be known as one of the best producers, comics, this, Renaissance man. I want to be known for a few different things. I might get into politics later, so that's on my bucket list as well, to get into politics and try to make some change happen in the world.
I love it. And the one thing that you were saying, about music, it truly is a soundtrack to life. It really, really is. I can't think of a TV show, commercial, video game, anything without music.
Hello. Hey, we need it. And it's not going anywhere. So people want to talk like, oh, the artist falling off or the sales is falling off. But guess what? People still gonna listen to music. People still gonna go and find music or go to concerts or watch TV or video games, like you said. And Madden gonna be playing music while you doing it. You know what I mean? So that's not going anywhere. So let's just get better. So I am also. Next year, I'll be launching my School of Beats. It's called Rothstein School of Beats, where I'm gonna be teaching kids from the ages of 4 to 14 on how to produce music, how to make music. And it's really, my goal is a 10-year process. So by the time my 4-year-olds, they'll be 14 by the end of it. And then imagine how dope a producer they'll be when they really understand what it takes, when they really understand key structure, chord progressions, when they study the greats who came before them and get some motivation, inspiration from them. Really, really honing that skill and craft of making music. So
wait. You don't just push a button and just music comes up. It doesn't work that way. You have to actually know music.
With AI, if you got AI, you can do that. But nah, in real life, you do have to understand the formula to music.
Yes, there is a formula to music. AI is there, but you have to utilize it properly but you have to have talent before that.
Hello.
You can't just throw it out there.
Know what you're doing.
Wow. Otherwise, it's confused. You have to teach the computer what to do. The computer doesn't know what to do.
It's just sitting there. Exactly. They asking you questions like, all right, what do you want this?
Right. What do you want from me?
What tempo? You like, what is tempo? And that's what I'm saying. If you don't know the lingo, if you don't know BPM, beats per minute, or anything like that, you're gonna be a little stuck. You're gonna be a little lost. So my goal is for those kids who don't want to pick up instruments, you can still be creative and by using your computer and laptop.
Absolutely. So go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you, follow you, and book you.
Hello. Well, again, thank you for having me on your great show. Thank you again. But you can definitely find me. Everything is Rothstein Beats. You can Google Rothstein Beats, Instagram. I am Rothstein Beats on Instagram. Started my comedy page, which is Rothstein the Comic. So you can follow me on Instagram at Rothstein the Comic. On Twitter, everything else is Rothstein Beats. So, and on Clubhouse, come on Clubhouse, look for Music Networking No Egos, or look up Rothstein Beats, and you'll definitely find me in the place to be. Hello.
Awesome sauce. Congratulations again on being a part of the Grammy board. I already know that you're going to make some amazing choices when it comes to these artists and who's going to get the next Grammy. So
we need and this is the best part about it is that the Grammys are looking for people. They're looking for creative. They want You know, they want a bigger presence of people who do music, because you do have to have some type of resume. You can't just be I love music and now you want to vote on who gets best song of the year. You don't even know what it takes. You know what I mean? So you do have to have a resume. But the great thing about me is I'm going to help you get the resume, and I'm going to help you. You know what I'm saying? Teach you, show you what I learned, because I like to do it first. So then I can, teach people, show people how to do it. And, I'm not just running my mouth, you know what I mean? So, so my goal is to bring the next generation of people to the Grammys and help. Let's change some of these votes. If you didn't like last year's winner, now you can do something about it. You know what I mean? Now you can be a part of the organization and honestly vote. So I'm actually going to vote for the first time this year, and I'm super excited about it. We had an album we did last year go and make it past the first round. So hopefully when we do this one again, we'll get the nomination this time. So now that I'm voting I'm on the Grammys. You know what I mean? Now we can, get some people some Grammys. Hello.
Thank you so much again. You are so awesome.
Thank you for having me.